One of the most difficult parts of loving someone is the fact that they don't always do what we want. In fact, they very rarely tend to do what we want. One of the greatest complaints that parents have of their children, children have of their parents, spouses have of each other, is that they don't do what I want. But sometimes the things that our loved ones do are much deeper. And sometimes that sense of betrayal, of them not doing what we want, or doing what we don't want, is much, much deeper. We see this in cases of alcoholism. We see this in cases of drug abuse. We see this in cases when a loved one, we're watching them make choice after choice after choice that we know is harming them, that we know is detrimental for them and their lives. And we may try, and we do try, over and over to get them to stop the alcohol, to stop the drugs, to stop ruining or harming their lives in so many ways. But as most of us have learned, it's deeply difficult, if not impossible. And when you take it to something like suicide, you take it really to the far end of the spectrum, because of course with suicide, you've even lost not only the person, but you've lost any possibility of hope, of faith, that you will be able to get them to see, to think, to live the way you want them to. And so having a loved one commit suicide is at least a double, if not a triple tragedy. The first tragedy, of course, is we've lost the loved one. We experience that whether they die from suicide, from an accident or an illness, or naturally after a very, very, very long life. In all of those cases, we have the tragedy of losing the loved one. But in suicide, we have these other two double whammy tragedies with a suicide. And the first tragedy is that almost insatiable yearning to understand if I just could have done something differently. It's almost unstopping, a ceaseless, an incessant disease that comes in our own minds. If only I had, or if only I hadn't. If just I had said this, or not said that, or done this, or not done that, then maybe I might have been able to stop them. And it's so important to realize that we do not have any control over someone else's karmic package. It's not about what we say or what we do. As so many people who have tried to help loved ones overcome depression, overcome suicidal thoughts, overcome addiction, overcome misery. It's not about what you say or do. It has to come from within them. The whole healing from depression, healing from misery, healing from suicidal tendencies is part of a very deep karmic package that person has. It's not about what you say or do. So do not ever feel guilty. No one can make someone do that. And then, of course, you've got the third triple whammy, which I mentioned before, which is the sense of loss of hope. If you're just dealing with someone who's struggling with depression, struggling with suicidal thoughts, struggling with alcoholism or drug addiction, there's always this sense that maybe tomorrow I'll be able to change them. Maybe just this intervention or that intervention will work. But with suicide, that hope is gone also. And so the way to deal with it is, number one, we mourn the loss the same way that we always mourn the loss. Number two, we do not allow ourselves to feel guilty. Everyone comes in with their own karmic package. In the same way that parents shouldn't feel guilty about choices that their children make in life. In the same way, we can't feel guilty about the choices our loved ones make. Every one of us has to manage our own karmic package. But number three, realize it's not actually over. They're going to come back. Suicide is not a way of getting rid of the karma. Suicide just delays having to deal with it. So if I commit suicide in this life, I'm just going to have to come back in my next life and repeat it. Repeat the lessons that I was running away from, along with a whole new karmic package of the fact that I actually violated the most precious gift in the universe, which was this human birth. So all of the karmic package that I had that was leading me to depression and misery, that's going to come with me again. Suicide does not free us. It just gives us a new body to deal with the same stuff, but now compounded by also the karma of having taken this precious gift, this home of God, and destroyed it. So it's never an answer. Whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're suffering from, just know the sun will rise tomorrow. No matter how dark the night is tonight, the sun will rise tomorrow. No matter how stormy it is today, the sun will rise tomorrow. The world is not as narrow as you think it is. When we're depressed, we see the world like this. That which I'm depressed about, the world of my mind that I'm depressed in. It feels all pervasive. It feels like this is everything. And it feels permanent. It will always be like this. So it's everywhere, it's everything, and it's always. And you need to realize it is not all pervasive, and it is not permanent. There are places, there are things you can do, there are ways through the depression. And in the shifting sands of time, as the chemistry and the electricity of your brain shifts, as the days and the nights of your life shift, so will the emotions in your mind. And remember, there are people there for you. Reach out to them. That is your strength. When you feel like you have no strength, Reach out to others and recognize they are your strength. And if you have no others, do not worry. You have God. Reach out to God as your strength. The sun will rise tomorrow on you and for you. But for now, in that dark night, reach out. Reach out to those who can give you a hand, give you some light, or at least just give you a lap to be in during this time of darkness.